asshole video next and have it in the middle of the week because I wanted to make up for the one that I missed. Now, the subreddit Am I the Asshole calls itself a catharsis for the frustrated moral philosopher in all of us, and a place to finally find out if you were in the wrong in an argument that's been bothering you. Tell us about any non-violent conflict you've experienced. Give us both sides of the story and find out if you're right or if you are the asshole. Now, in each video I do 5 stories, and I give my take on whether I think OP is the asshole, and it'd be awesome if you guys in the comments would be able to give your take as well. So, without further ado, let's begin. Number 1. Am I the asshole for having high expectations for my bachelorette party? I, 25, female, am getting married to my wonderful fiancé, 31, male, this fall. A week ago, I had a bachelorette party. While most girls dream of their weddings, I dreamt about my bachelorette weekend. I put a lot of planning into this weekend, made a lot of phone calls, reservations, everything basically. For Thursday night to Sunday morning, me and my 25 closest girlfriends, 25, wow, rented a house. From the start, it was a disaster. I had told my girls to get to the house early on Thursday so they could decorate and set up before I got there. Well, I got to the house at 3, and they weren't done decorating, so that bummed me out because I wanted that wow moment when I came in and saw the setup. I felt robbed, but we still had a decent first night. Friday, I woke everyone up at 7 a.m. to make breakfast and get ready because we had a packed day. Vineyards, boat, lunch, happy hour drinks, and then dinner in the clubs. I was getting shaded on all afternoon because people said they were being rushed from place to place and had to carry changes of clothing all day, but we only had limited time in this city, and so I wanted to make the most of it. Saturday was worse. We had brunch at 9 a.m. and no one was awake in time, so it only ended up being me and a few loyal bridesmaids. We went shopping after a few hours, and when we got back to the house, nobody was even apologetic, even though I was close to tears all day. The last straw for me was later that night when we were going to dinner, and nobody was wearing the matching shirts we got for the weekend. People wanted to wear their own stuff, but that's not what we agreed on, even though my MOH notified everyone. At that point, I said, screw it. This weekend was ruined, and I locked myself in my room to cry. It was even worse when I came out a few hours later, and half the girls had gone away without me. Without me, you know, the actual bride. I ended up driving home early on Sunday and left the house a mess for the girls to pick up because I was so upset. Now, it's been almost a week. Nobody's really texted me except some bridesmaids and the maid of honor. I know I sound bridezilla-ish, but these are supposed to be my friends, and we were supposed to celebrate me all weekend, and I felt neglected, and I'm just really upset. I understand these expectations may seem like a lot, but I made my expectations clear to the group, and they just let me down so bad. Tell me, am I the asshole? I understand that weddings are a really special thing, but it is kind of odd that, like, it almost comes across as, like, narcissistic in a way. Like, these are real people, you know? They're not just gonna be, like, up there worshipping you. Do you understand what I mean? And it almost feels like that's how you wanted the weekend to be. I'm honestly just shocked that you have 25 friends, not like in an insulting way. It's just, who has 25 in real life friends? There's a lot of people. I don't even know 25 people. I mean, I have the subscribers here that I know by, like, their username, but in real life, I don't know 25 people. I don't know, like, the asshole for calling my husband out for choosing to see his daughter and not me after he got out of surgery? I, 33-year-old female, have been with my husband, 37-year-old male we'll call Ryan, for 3 years. He has a 15-year-old daughter from his previous marriage, which he shares custody of. He got involved in a car accident 2 weeks ago and had to undergo a surgery that was scheduled days earlier. No one else besides me was at the hospital, and I remember waiting there for him for hours. After he was cleared for visitation, he actually requested to see his daughter. I was confused because she wasn't even there yet, but he wanted to see her before anyone else. But I was there waiting for hours while his daughter just happened to get there on time. Her mom brought her to him. She stayed there for the entirety of the visit, and I was only allowed to go within the last 10 minutes of the visitation time. I didn't say anything, though I was extremely hurt, and I figured that it was just the medication making him not completely aware. But I knew that I was there first, and still had my stepdaughter going first. So I brought it up with him later, and I opened up to him about how I felt when he didn't want to see me first. And he told me that his request to see his daughter first was a no-brainer, and that if he was about to die, he'd still choose to see her first. I told him how dismissive and inconsiderate that was of him, since I literally was there the whole time, and he ignored that, and he was shocked that I made a big deal out of it and felt like I was guilting him for doing something instinctively, well, on meds, like wanting to see his daughter. He clearly misunderstood my point and my argument, but still insisted I was being ridiculous for trying to call him out on it, as if he was asking to see his ex or something and told me to get over it, which was incredibly hurtful of him. It's just the lack of appreciation and recognition I got after waiting on him for hours, feeling worried and anxious, just for him to have his daughter in there first and making me wait again. Am I the asshole? You're not the asshole, but you need to understand that a parent's gonna pick, or they should pick, their kid over, this person they're with. I've had several people in my life pick random people they met over their own kids. My mom, my dad, and also my great-grandfather. I think it's gross for somebody to pick like a man or woman over their own kid. That's someone who's like, they came from you. So it makes no sense to me how you can just put somebody else over them. I don't know. Maybe they're just built differently in a negative way. Anyways, this should be interesting. Number 3. Am I the asshole for ignoring the homeowners association in the house my friends and I rent? My friends Jess, Megan, and I rent a house. We're all recent college graduates, young professionals, and we're decent roommates to each other and decent neighbors, as far as I can tell. The house that we rent is part of a homeowners association, and the way the laws work is that the HOA, Homeowners Association, has a legal contract with the homeowner, and the homeowner who is leasing out a property has a legal contract with his tenants. But the HOA has no authority over the tenants legally. It's on the landlord to include the HOA rules in his lease with the tenants. Anyways, some of the HOA rules were in the lease, like only having cars parked in the garage and driveway, not on the street, and like no political signage in the front yard. But there were relatively few. The lease was pretty much your standard lease. Anyway, neighbors have come over several times to tell us about HOA laws that we're breaking. Not just the same few neighbors, but there have been like 8 of them. For example, they said we couldn't have junker cars in the driveway, and I was like, it's not a junker, I drive it every day. Plus, you should be taking this stuff to the landlord. He's the homeowner in your association. The guy went off on me about how having cars like mine around lowers the property value, and I was like, my agreement was with the landlord. My lease says nothing about what kind of cars I can own. They don't like how my roommate has astrology wall tapestries over the windows instead of curtains, or how we have a fire pit outside, or how many friends we have over even though we never break any rules about cars. In fact, few of our friends even drive. They told my roommate it's not allowed to do DIY projects like woodworking or car maintenance in the driveway, and told me about noise rules that don't line up with the city noise ordinance. They told my roommate that her friends can't lock their bicycles up to the deck railing. Well, anyway, every time we tell these people that their contract is with the homeowner and our contract is with our landlord, that we're following their contract, which is given to us by the landlord, and their contract is only between them and the landlord, they don't care. They complain to us the landlord is hard to reach. He travels a lot, he's not communicative, and complain that we're the ones living in the community and that we need to follow its rules. Am I the asshole for blowing them off? Okay, I've never encountered them, thankfully, but from what I've seen, homeowners associations are weird. That's like first world problems. It's people, from my approximation, who it seems like you really don't understand anything if you're able to get that angry about stupid things like that. Like, do you have any idea how bad of things happen all around the world 24/7? It baffles me that these people in homeowner associations put this much value on these little things that mean nothing. It's not like you can take your house or take your house with you after you pass away, you know what I mean? It's just bizarre. It's not even anything serious either, but they treat it like it's life or death. It is the weirdest thing to me. Like, homeowners association should not be allowed. It is beyond me how that's even a thing. They're like a little, I don't know, wannabe landlords or something. It's weird. It's like a power trip and like a clique or something. No use for them. But that's just me. Next. Am I the asshole for not buying my daughter a laptop after she told me she doesn't respect me? This story takes place over the course of the past year or so. For some context to this story, this is in Australia. My daughter is currently 16 and an artist. I am 58 and we live in an extremely rural area. I'm using mobile, so forgive me for my formatting issues. So, I was my daughter's mathematics methods teacher from years 9 to 11. A year ago, beginning of 2020, during her year 10, my daughter began acting out suddenly at home, and eventually at school too. We think it's because of one of her friends who, honestly, is a complete asshole to her parents. Around about the middle of that same year, she would start crying on every single trip to school, most of the time completely refusing to go. On the days I made her go, she would end up calling her mother during recess to take her home. On the days she refused to get out of bed, we would confiscate her phone and keep it for a few weeks at a time. She still had her school laptop during this, though. It was around the time my daughter plainly told me she doesn't respect me. In mid-September 2020 or so, as I said, my daughter plainly told me she doesn't respect or love me or my wife, and ever since then, she's completely ignored our presence at home. Skip forward to the same time in 2021. She actively avoids us, insults us, and has no respect for her family. She only ever comes out of her room to eat, and never ever acknowledges us. She has her own money from her drawings she makes on her laptop, so we never buy her anything except necessities. But around 3.5 months ago, she came to her mother and me and casually told us her laptop was old, crappy, and broken from our friend's kid using it. We don't usually buy her gifts because we feel she's old enough to get an actual job and buy her own things. but she's so lazy and refuses to do anything but draw anime in her room. I've seen some of her drawings here and there, and to me it's porn. The woman in those drawings are naked, and she says that that's the only way she can afford anything, because we won't buy her anything. We don't want to reward her for this behavior with a new laptop. We told her very stern, no, get a job. And she just started crying again. Since then, every single conversation I've had with her has ended in her yelling at me. Every single time. I tell her that dinner's ready, and she tells me that she'll eat with her family when she actually gets a family. It hurts. I'd ask her how her day's been, and she'd reply, fuck off. She's such a dramatic kid. She has life so good. She doesn't have a job, doesn't go to school, and still has free food and a place to live, yet she treats us like this. The point is, I don't want to buy her anything until she wants to start treating us with actual respect. Am I the asshole for not buying her a laptop even when she needs one to do her art? You're not an asshole for not buying her a laptop, but I think you're an asshole for being dismissive of the things that your child likes. You should encourage, maybe not porn drawings, but you should encourage like artistic talents and things, or just anything that your child takes a genuine interest in. That could be something they pursue as a career later on, art or anything like that. It's wrong to just kind of shit on the things that your child finds interesting. So, while you're not an asshole for not wanting to spend your money on a laptop for her, you shouldn't put down everything that she's interested in, you know what I mean? Maybe if you didn't put it down all the time and be so dismissive, she might be more open to talking with you. Last but not least, number 5. Am I the asshole for telling my stepmother to get over her child calling my wife mom? My father married my now stepmother late in life after an accidental pregnancy. For reference, my father is 71, my wife and I are 32 and 30, and my stepmother is 41. Alright? My stepmother was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer while pregnant, and it's progressed to stage 4. She has less than a year to live. We've already worked it out between the three of us that after my stepmother passes on, my wife and I will be adopting the baby. It's the perfect solution. My father will get to fully retire and have a more appropriate grandfather role. My wife and I will be able to have a second child, and our older child will be able to have a younger sibling that they've already bonded with, since we already do most of the care for the baby because she's far too ill. I came over to visit and show them pictures and videos of the kids. I didn't think about this, but in one of the videos, the baby can be heard saying "mama" to my wife. She got angry at that and asked if we allow the baby to say that, which we do, and it came out that we would be adopting the baby after she passes on. She balked at that and said she would never allow it, but quite frankly, that's just not her choice. I tried to tell her not to worry about it and that we would make sure she wasn't forgotten, but she got angry and tried to say that she would stop it. I shouldn't have engaged, but I did, and ended up telling her to get over it because that's just what it was going to be. She started crying and I stormed out. My father is upset with me for upsetting her, which I feel bad about, but she's the one who made a big deal about it. She never even had to think about it. She brought it up, not me. I didn't want to stress her out because there was no need to, but what did she think the reality of this situation was going to be? My wife and I are already the ones raising this child. My father is too old to fully raise another child or even want to. I don't think it's my fault she pressed for a truth and didn't like what she found. Am I the asshole? Yes, you are the asshole. That's not your kid. And it's dickish that you're going against what this person wants, even if the person has less than a year to live. Like, who are you to be talking that way to that person? Jeez. And the father, I don't know why a 71-year-old is getting a 40-year-old pregnant, but I don't know what a 40-year-old's doing with a 70-year-old anyway. Like, is there money there? What's the attraction? I don't know, but no, you shouldn't. It's still not your child, so it's messed up for you to do that. And it's also dismissive. It makes me think you couldn't give a crap whether the actual mother like lived or died anyway. So, asshole in that case. But I want you guys to also post what you thought. If you thought someone was the asshole, it wasn't the asshole. I'm excited to hear your opinions. Want to wish you, and especially thank you, Marvin, for being someone who supports the channel. I appreciate it. Though, when I say supports the channel, I mean a membership. I also thank people who support the channel in terms of just watching the videos and subscribing, leaving likes. I appreciate that too. There's people who put the videos into playlists. I appreciate that. I'm glad you like them. I'm glad that they help you out, maybe give you something to listen to during the day, and I'll try to make them as often as I can and be as creative as I can. I have some role plays that I want to do coming up, so I hope you'll like those. I'm trying to get more creative with it. I want to make them as nice as I can, despite the kind of low budget I'm working with right now. So, until the next one, have an excellent day, night, or anything in between, and I'll see you soon.